I can't be zen about my overall thoughts of Alien Earth. So you're gonna get the raw thoughts of mine with this show. Because episode 8 was just a complete waste of time. I was hoping that it would have been like at least sewing the season to a close where we were left with more questions than answers. There was no resolve really with it. And the frustrating part about this show is the fact that like it started off good. It had elements. It does have elements to be a really good show. The problem is the girl boss character, which I hoped wouldn't happen, and it did. It got solidified for me in episode 8, where she freezes the Adam character in his place and can open doors with like a Jedi powers and controls aliens now. She's an overpowered character with not really any explanation on how she was given these powers or what have you, and simply the fact that like the stupid writing was like she has no safety protocols. She had at least in the beginning there where she fought the alien. I think it was episode 3 where she fought the alien and got hurt. I'm like, okay, so there can be setbacks there, right? But then they went ahead and episode 5 onward, you see she's getting more and more powerful. And I was praying that it wouldn't turn into the girl boss character, but here we are. And I don't like that, which has my expectations lower than hell. Um, they went nowhere with the moral character. They went nowhere with the cursed character. We got no resolve for either of them there. Then Morrow was in a cell, then he gets out of the cell, and then he gets beaten up, and then he's put back in the cell. What did that do other than have an action sequence with Kirsch? He had a fight. He shot a gun. That's all we really got with him in this episode, and we're still stuck inside this building, this complex, this lab, which is boring at this point. We had one episode where we're out in the jungle and everything. I mean, that's kind of what initially my thoughts in the trailer back before I started watching the show. Like, okay, we're going to be partly in the complex and then partly out there. And it brings me back to Helix, an old show long ago where um, and bits and pieces from what I remember, but I remember the first season being really interesting, where it's like there's a virus inside this complex, and it's a mystery, and they got to figure out like who's affected and whatever. And then around season 2 came around, and then they totally took it on this island, and it felt like they had no direction with the writing, and whatever characters were in the first season that transitioned over the second season, they just didn't really care or do away with them. And it's like, okay, this is Disney's biggest problem is that they have these franchises and they may start off with a cool TV show concept, but as the show progresses, it gets progressively worse. And it deconstructs the characters that have been set up, whether they're new or whether they're legacy characters. Disney's done that. They've deconstructed their idea that someone came up with into the same crap. And they've done it with all these shows that come out, including Marvel, where it's a bait and switch. This is not an alien show, Alien Earth. This is Wendy Earth now. And I'm so sick of it. Absolutely sick of this girl boss bullshit, frankly. And I'm going to throw it right out there. Not the actor's fault because all the actors in the show are fantastic. They're playing these roles out the way they are written. But the writing and the plot is just absolutely turns to garbage by the last episode of the season. And it's frustrating to me because I'm passionate about the Alien franchise. Like, yeah, Alien and Aliens are always going to be the top two films in this entire thing. whereas the rest of the films, other than Romulus, are total crap. Or it may have had ideas like Alien 3, but ultimately backfired because the script was garbage. And it sucks because what I liked early on in the season was they exploring some lore, the kind of way the facehugger thing works, and they cut it open and all that. Like some of the lore was being explored there. I'm like, cool. I can let the fact that Wendy could control the xenomorphs with like seismic vibrations or tones or whatever. I can accept that. But the more it went along, the more she became a girl boss and was solidified by episode 8. And the thing that I really can't stand about Prometheus and Alien Covenant, which Alien Covenant was a train wreck, is the fact that they focus on the synthetics just purely because something humans made that will take this become stronger and everything. I personally don't care for it. I'd be fine with it if it's like you had both the humans and the synthetics, and then you had the aliens kind of like going back and forth. And that's partly what the first 4 episodes really did, is it kind of like we're jumping in a nice pace between these different storylines. But ultimately, episode 5 onward, they got away from that. And it's very frustrating as an Alien franchise. I wouldn't say lover of it, but I really enjoy the whole concept of it. And they had a lot of really cool comic books back in the day. And Alien Romulus, like I personally thought the movie was cool because it brought it back to the kind of the horror um, aspect of the franchise. Where here it had potential to be something great, and then by the end it's just mediocrity. So what I want to see in season 2, but I doubt I'm going to get that because of the way I think the writers are going to go, is Morrow and Kirsch. I want to see kind of more of them because they're the best part of this entire season, in my opinion. Even though they got no resolve by the last episode, I still think they're great characters. I want to see more of them. I want to see kind of like the what happens now with some of these like other non-xenomorph type of creatures there. I want to see what happens to Arthur, who is now having the eyeball creature inside him now. How's that going to play out? Because you could go with like a lot of interesting aspects there. Like, what's its plan with Arthur, who, if his brain's still active, has access to information that is very vital. I honestly thought the eyeball creature would get into the boy uh, CEO character, but that didn't happen. Um, you have Otani coming to the island that is going to coming for their specimens. Are the synthetics and humans going to have to work together to combat Otani? That would be a cool concept there. Putting aside all differences, that would be a concept. But I don't believe that they're going to do any of that. It's going to be the Wendy show, and that's it. That's what I fear for season 2. That's why, primarily why my excitement is dipped low with this. It's the Wendy synthetic show, and frankly, it's boring. When you do like the different ideas and concepts there in the earlier episodes, that's how I want season 2 to be. Again, you had the arc with Morrow and the one synthetic kid who he was manipulating to get the alien off, tomorrow. I mean, they botched the end result. I thought that could have been so much better, but the whole idea leading up to a certain point was interesting. They had the Kerr shark. I'm like, he's noticing things going around. He's paying attention. What's his ultimate goal, or what's he thinking? You had elements early on with Wendy, and kind of like when she killed the one xenomorph there, and kind of like, oh, okay, what's going to happen here? Even though the Nibs storyline was not the greatest. I mean, when they erased her brain, how's that going to play out? And they really didn't go anywhere with that. Like all these little elements, like that, to maintain a strength of those separate storylines with the main storyline, like would be a cool concept that they bring back in season two. But I don't see that because it's the Wendy show. I honestly think still that Otani should come to the island and nuke the whole place and just be done with it and start season two with fresh, right? Honestly, at this point. And I don't know, the xenomorphs and the eyeball creature all swim in the water away and they don't get killed. And at least we have some alien stuff still there, right? It's frustrating. It really is on anyone in Disney with this writing. It really is. When this concept could be taken to a whole other level and make it really cool. Like I like when they had shots of Morrow outside of the complex and kind of the village area there, and kind of seeing how people are living. Like more of that. I want to know that. But they don't. They stick with the lab, this one area, this complex area, and it's boring. Like I was expecting these aliens to get out, and the second half of the season being about that. But no, it didn't really happen. So I don't know, man. Those are my overall thoughts. And I think that seeing the first full fledged trailer, not a teaser of season two, will either make or break whether or not I watch season two at all. Because right now, my excitement for this is low as hell, as I did mention at the beginning of this video. Another disappointing show. Peacemaker's disappointing. It's annoying. It really is. Like, so I don't watch a lot of TV because, like, and this is the thing is when I saw the initial first trailer of this show, I was like so hesitant to watch it, and I was hoping when I started watching it that it wouldn't turn to crap, and it did. So another disappointing Disney product or on a franchise that could be better in the hands of people that actually care. Yeah, at least in episode 8, we got to finally see the plant thing kill someone. That was cool. It would be cool if the alien got out and kind of like started doing a nest around the Earth and stuff, and they kind of have to figure out how to stop it. That would be a cool idea. This takes place, what they say, like 5 decades before the first Alien movie or something like that. I don't know. I was so hoping that this show wouldn't turn to crap. Um, and what's going to happen with the rest of those eggs in the lab? Are they going to let them hatch? So I don't remember how many are left, like three or something. So are they going to have like five xenomorphs running amok with Wendy in charge of them all? She's going to take on Otani by herself and not get a scratch. Is that what we're going for? The only thing I could think of going into season two that could really stop this Wendy invasion is the brother. Because in the end of episode 7, he shot the Nibs character, and eventually, uh, they were taken into the cell. But like, I'm looking at it as like, that's a moot point when she could just go. and open the door and get out whenever she wants. So what's the point of locking her up then? Just shoot her and have actual weapons on that island that can kill stuff for threats. These stun guns do nothing. That's what makes me laugh, man. Stuff like that, like the writing ideas like that, you should have high-end security weapons that can take stuff down instead of poking it with the electrical charges. It doesn't make sense to me. Lack of security, lack of security within these synthetics, where they should have been programmed with some kind of kill switch or off program or I don't know what. They didn't take that into effect with the protocols. It's just so many bad writing decisions, man. Anyway, I'm done talking about this to death. I'm putting this one to bed. Now we wait for a trailer of season two, and that will determine whether or not I give a shit to watch this going forward. Let me know your ideas in the comments below. What you thought, who's your favorite character, what you want to see in season two. Have you given up watching this show? I want to know in the comments. Let me know. Um, don't forget to like and subscribe, and uh, hopefully, Welcome to Derry will be good. I'm hoping out, putting out hopes for that show, that season. So far, Dexter Resurrection has been the only show this year that's been good all the way through. Where Peacemaker season two has been a drag, and this show turned out to be a drag. There you have it.